was born in East LA, and I was born in East LA. What up, everyone? You know who I am. I'm Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw. Yeah, ready to cut loose. Whoo, goddamn, I'm ready to cut loose. And today, we're going to review a classic movie and have a little talk about our two little original stoners, Cheech and Chong. But mostly we're going to be talking about Cheech Marin and Cheech Marin's first solo movie, Born in East LA. Check it out. Now, this movie entails about a man named Rudy over from the border and working at a factory, and he ends up getting caught by La Migra. If you don't know what La Migra is, they're those guys that kind of round up Mexicans and take them back to the border. Basically, their whole job. So he gets rounded up in a toy factory, and what it ended up kind of something ends up happening to him where he answers the questions wrong, and they end up deporting him because he doesn't have his ID. So now this man that doesn't speak Spanish, who is Mexican, is deported in Mexico, and he has no way of getting back. So stuck in TJ, he meets a friend. Well, I wouldn't really think you'd call him a friend. The actor Daniel Stern, who is probably best known for his movies Home Alone. He's the other bumbling dude right next to Joe Pesci. So he tells him he can get a coyote. Oh yeah, I should have said this. Spoilers. A coyote to help him out. A coyote, for those that don't know, is someone that leads you through the trails and stuff like that. You know, and able to cross the border. But he has to save up money, so he has to do all kinds of weird and, well, wacky jobs. This is actually a really good movie. A lot of classic actors. Paul Rodriguez is actually in it. And for those who don't know, Paul Rodriguez is actually a great actor back in the old days. He was one of the original, I guess you could say, Latin kings of comedy. So yeah, he plays Cheech's cousin. So there's a lot of good things about this show, and furthermore, this movie is classic. And back in the day, when Cheech and Chong first started, there were a lot of actually they did a lot of drug movies. I mean, if you never seen Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke, and you call yourself a stoner, for shame that you've never ever seen Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. Sorry, ship was kind of nodding off. I had to wake it up. Now, Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke was like one of the first and original stoner movies. These guys used to tour everywhere doing this stoner act, like Cheech and Chong, like Cheech was the Mexican, you know, hey, I'm just a love machine, and I will work for nobody but you. And then, of course, there was Chong going, hey, man, I don't know who we are, man, but I do know I want to get high. So they made about 4 different movies, you know, with Cheech and Chong, the characters in it. And the first 2 actually did rather well, and the other ones kind of flopped off. Then they made a movie called the Corinthian Brothers, which is a remake of an old novel, which each brother feels the pain of the other brother. Yeah, it didn't do too good. But anyways, Cheech was actually looking to expand at this point. Cheech had kind of wanted to do his own thing for a while. He was kind of tired of, and even Chong admits this in later interviews, that it was an ego thing, that he wanted to be in charge. He wanted to kind of control everything, and Cheech wanted to break out on his own. And Cheech has had like a much different career over the years. Like he was on Nash Bridges, I think, and he's done a lot of different appearances here and there. He was in that War on Grandpa, or War with My Grandpa with Robert De Niro, something like that. That was actually a pretty good movie for what it was. So Cheech's expansion away from the drug thing actually started with this movie because Cheech was trying to distance himself from that because he knew the market existed only so long. People get tired of it. It's like dick and fart jokes. Is that all you do is dick and fart jokes? That people are going to get tired of it. Ask Adam Sandler, and that's why he had to do something else. But this movie was really well written. It's a lot of it's done by Cheech. A lot of it was his brainstorm, and there's a lot of good actors in this. I mean, like if you actually get the chance to watch this, you'll understand what I'm saying. And just from the cover too. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Cheech, like kind of trying to escape like the Cheech and Chong stereotype, and then just trying to move on to something else. That's why I kind of like the Bob Wire kind of like. But anyways, he tries to cross the border at different times. He meets a lady. Of course, there's always a lady, and he ends up kind of stuck, almost wanting to stay, and yet wanting to leave at the same time. And this gives you an idea that people assume that Mexican Americans are just Spanish speaking, gang wearing cholos, like there's different kinds of Mexicans, there's different kinds of Latinos, just like there's different kinds of black people, different kinds of white people. And not all of us speak Spanish just because our territory is down there. I mean, if I walked up to you and go, Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Parlez-vous français? A little bit of the Irish. The Celtic. No. And now what the fuck do you expect us? Because we're goddamn Americans too. Oh, I'm going to stand off my soapbox. I'm going to get off my soapbox. But this movie is funny as hell. You will love this movie. I mean, the pace is really good. There's a beautiful redheaded woman that walks through it. And literally, like, back in the 30s and 40s, when a woman walked through, they play that boom, 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 boom music. If you watch Looney Tunes, they actually do that a lot. And there's a girl in this one like that too, and she's kind of the mystery woman. And I think Cheech, for no other reason, put her in the movie because she was just great eye candy. Because that's kind of the way Cheech thinks. But yeah, it's a wonderful movie. It's actually a classic '80s movie, and I love how they take Born in the USA and they go Born in East LA. Actually, Chong got credit for writing that, even though Cheech did all the work. But he gave Chong a little credit because Chong helped him out in the beginning. So, what can you do? You got to help a friend. Furthermore, this was like Cheech's expansion into something different, which is actually really cool. They actually gave him the reins. They trusted him at this time because in the 1980s, they didn't trust a lot of Mexicans to have their own movie, if you know what I mean. So, I highly recommend this. It's a great story. Really funny. Has a lot of heart. And yes, in heart. Isn't that what we need in a movie? Some kind of story, a protagonist that we could like, and a situation that they could just get in and out of. And that's basically what this movie has to offer. I'm going to show you guys again so you get a rough idea of what I'm talking about. This movie came out in the 80s, of course, the late 80s. And this is kind of like what led Cheech into a different expansions. That's why he was on the Latin Kings of Comedy, if you've ever seen that. Damn good. It's worth watching. Like I said, I wanted to showcase this movie because it's funny, it's different, it's something original. And if you've seen the Cheech and Chong movies, you'll like this. It doesn't have any drug stuff, but man, it has the same Cheech humor, which is really good. It's worth watching. And furthermore, as a recommendation, you always got to go with the Barrio Brothers, man. Either player one or player two, you know how it is. You know what to do. And I'm your boy, the Comic Outlaw. Always going here and there, So don't be a square, and subscribe, man. Subscribe. No. Oh yeah, I got a lot of these. You need them when you hunt certain things from the multiverse. This one in particular, this is my vampire killer. Silver. But anyways, that's neither here or there. So if you want a good movie that's fun on both sides of the border, I highly recommend Cheech Marin's Born in East LA. So I'm the Comic Outlaw. So subscribe, man. Subscribe. And as always, your boy will catch you on the flip side.